A year ago, I made an air filter that beat Amazon's bestseller in every way. The filters were better, it was quieter, and it moved more air. It just had one problem. It's kind of ugly. It doesn't fit the vibe. So naturally, version 2 has to be better in every way. And you're looking at it right now. Behold, version 2. So not only is it better in every single way, you also don't even know it's there. What do you think, Murph?
Do you like it? It's an air filter, Murph.
Version 1 taught me a couple really important things. One, these filters aren't ideal. Second, these fans definitely aren't ideal. And then there's another thing, but we'll get into that later. Just a quick recap. This first version was built from construction scrap that I just had lying around on a job site. It actually does perform super well. Again, my main issue with it right now is just an aesthetic one. It's giant, it's bulky. I totally understand why somebody would just buy something off of Amazon. Also super cheap to make. All in, I think this cost around $25 for something that has insane performance that you'd have to spend a lot of money to match that level. But after a couple of months of use, there's a couple of things I started to notice. So when I bought this, I went to the hardware store and I just got the best filter I could. But it turns out you don't really need to do that. Filters actually get slightly better over time because the dust that they trap helps filter dust that comes afterwards. The only thing that gets worse over time is that it becomes more and more difficult to pull air through it as that dust builds up. So actually, on version 2, I have 2 filters that are slightly worse, but they get better over time. And because I have 2 of them, my fan has to work half as hard to pull air through. So instead of using 1 really good filter, I'm using 2 slightly worse ones. And to be honest, for what I'm trying to filter out of the air, just like pet hair, things like that, I'm not making a clean room here. So overall, what does this mean? It means there's less resistance on the fan, the longer filter life, and I move more air through it. Speaking of moving air, that brings me to problem number 2. I know I said the fans, look at how nasty those things got over time. So computer fans move a surprising amount of air, but they don't have any static pressure. So as soon as this filter starts to clog up, they can't really pull air through it, which leads to my first theory. You see how there's like dust on the inside of the manifold? That shouldn't happen. The inside of this box should stay really clean because it's only ever getting filtered air. So my theory is what has to be happening is that there's just a little local current where air is getting sucked in because that's the only way that dust can get on the back of the blades of the fan. Whether that's exactly what's happening or not, that kind of told me this is not the way to go. But again, for the price, it's the easiest thing you can do, and it's better than nothing. We're gonna move that out of frame, and we'll move it into frame. Don't worry about that wire. So this time I'm using a 6-inch inline duct booster. And basically what this is this just fits in between a rigid piece of ducting, and this is what it's actually made for. Yeah, look at this thing. That's pretty good. And crucially, even after a month of use, you don't see any of that nasty dust happening inside the fan itself. The last problem is actually the most interesting. Version 1 took up a ton of space, so that's what I had to tackle for the next one. I started thinking about airplanes. Do you know airplanes don't have separate fuel tanks? The wings are the fuel tanks. They just waterproof them and put jet fuel in there. So now the same structure does 2 jobs. And it got me thinking, why can't furniture do that? There's so much dead space behind couches, under beds, in attic spaces. You can use that to do whatever you want. Like this shelf hold things and filters air now. That's my favorite thing about the DIY mentality is nobody understands your space more than you do. Like you're the best person at manipulating your own environment. There's nothing you can buy off a shelf that's going to be better for your situation than something you can make yourself. So I built this shelf a few months ago and I just kind of left this dead space behind there because I knew I was going to use it for something. I just didn't know what it would be yet. And then using leftover material from another job site. I ended up making this housing, which fits perfectly inside this space, almost like I designed it that way.
Also, one improvement over the first version is instead of using duct tape to seal everything, I'm using silicone, and I'm spreading that thin so that when I do replace the filters, it's a lot easier to do so.
Oh yeah, dude. And learning from version 1, again, twice the filters means twice the surface area, twice the lifetime. Half the resistance for the fan to blow through. So one thing you do need to be kind of careful of is bottlenecking the airflow. Because I'm using a 6-inch duct, at no point can it ever be less than a 6-inch diameter. So that's where this manifold comes in, is I have something square and then it gets to be circular. And what's actually really cool about that is at no point in this cross section does it ever go below that. In fact, I went a little overboard with this one. Same thing with this. Just ignore the fact that I cut the holes wrong. No one will ever see it, so it doesn't matter. Same thing here. It's all good as that surface area is more than this. Unfortunately, in order to cut the holes to make all those fit, it's my turn to be that kind of neighbor. Oh, that is so loud. Oh, my neighbors are going to be so upset. So, here's a moment of truth. Let's turn it on. It's about as loud as version 1, but it moves twice as much air. And unless you move this couch, you'll never even know it's there. This has already been running for a month now with no problems at all, and I've seen noticeably better air quality since. One other thing that's a massive benefit over version 1 is because the fans spit out air here and the intake is here, a lot of the air would just kind of stay local. Like it doesn't have to travel a long ways. So you wouldn't really filter a big area of space. But here, your intake is on this side and then it gets blown out this way. So at the very least, your air has to travel a long distance to get from one end to the other. I have a horrible confession. I don't actually really care about air filters. So far, I made 2 videos about this. I've spent a weird amount of time thinking about air filters and making them, but that was never even the point. To be honest with you, I just looked at the Amazon one and I was like, I just paid $50 for a fancy plastic box with a fan in it. I can do better than that. That's what I really enjoy about building things. It's not just making a copy of something you can buy. It's making something that couldn't exist anywhere except your own home. But yeah, like I don't really care that much about filtered air. It's a matter of principle. Yeah, stick around. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a version 3 just again out of spite. Why else would you do this? This is so much work. This took a long time. Don't do this unless you really care about it. The particulate generator and the particulate absorber all in one place. God, you're so cute. Oh my God.